Have you ever bought a cup of coffee, ordered food online, or paid for something with your debit or credit card? It feels normal, right? You tap your card, hear a small beep, and walk away. The whole thing takes just a few seconds. But have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes? What if I told you that every single time you buy something, even if it's just $1, a tiny hidden fee quietly moves from one company to another? And what if those tiny fees, so small that most people never even notice them, have created some of the biggest business empires in the world? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Well, by the end of this video, you'll understand how one of the simplest business models ever created makes billions of dollars every year without selling phones, clothes, food, or even cars. Before we begin, if you enjoy learning surprising facts about money, business, and the hidden systems that run our world, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. We have many more fascinating stories coming your way. Now, let's begin. Every day, billions of people buy something. Someone buys breakfast before work. A student pays for lunch. A family orders groceries online. Someone books a hotel. Another person buys a movie ticket. Millions of these purchases happen every single minute around the world. Most people only think about the price they pay. $5, $20, $100. But almost nobody thinks about the tiny fee hiding inside that payment. Let's imagine you walk into a store and buy a pair of shoes for $100 using your card. You pay $100. The store owner does not actually receive the full $100. Instead, they might receive around $97 or $98. The remaining few dollars are divided between different companies that helped make your payment possible. The interesting part is that you never see this happen. It all happens in just a few seconds. So where does that money go? First, your bank confirms that you have enough money. Then another bank receives the payment for the store. In between them is a payment network that safely carries the information from one side to the other. Think of it like a digital highway. Cars travel on roads. Money travels on payment networks. Without these networks, paying with a card would be much slower and much more difficult. These companies don't actually lend you money. They don't usually own the stores. Behind this simple tap lies a complex invisible machine that most people never realize exists. Every card payment passes through multiple layers of verification, security checks, and instant auctions between banks and networks. In milliseconds, your transaction is checked for fraud patterns, account balance, merchant category, and geographic risk. Then it is routed through acquiring banks, issuing banks, and global payment rails that compete to process it fastest and safest. Each participant in this chain takes a microscopic cut, called interchange or processing fees, which are split and reshuffled across borders and currencies. What feels like a single payment is actually a coordinated conversation between computers across continents, all happening faster than the blink of an eye. This system must work flawlessly, billions of times a day, because even a tiny error could disrupt global commerce. That reliability is why merchants are willing to pay these fees. They are essentially renting trust, speed, and security. And as digital payments expand into wallets, subscriptions, and contactless systems, this invisible machine only grows larger, smarter, and more deeply embedded into everyday life, quietly powering the modern economy without most people ever noticing it. It never stops working silently across the world constantly. They simply make sure your payment reaches the right place safely and almost instantly, and for doing that, they earn a tiny fee. Now here's the amazing part. One small fee doesn't sound like much, maybe only a few cents. Would you care about losing 5 cents? Probably not. Most people wouldn't even notice. But what happens if you collect just a few cents from billions of purchases every single day? Those tiny cents suddenly become millions of dollars, then billions. Imagine owning a small bucket under a giant waterfall. Each drop of water seems tiny, but if the waterfall never stops, your bucket keeps filling forever. That's exactly how these payment networks work. They don't need huge profits from one customer. They simply need billions of customers making billions of purchases. The more people spend, the more they earn. Think about your own life. Maybe you buy coffee every morning. Maybe you order food once a week. Maybe you shop online every month. Maybe you pay your electricity bill digitally. Every payment helps these networks earn just a little more. Now imagine billions of people doing the same thing. Every hour, every day, every year. That is the power of small numbers, multiplied by massive scale. This business model is incredibly powerful because people don't stop buying things. As long as people spend money, these networks keep working quietly in the background. Most people know the names of big technology companies, but very few people realize that some payment companies earn enormous profits simply by helping money move from one place to another. They don't have to convince you to buy a new phone every year. They don't need to make new fashion trends. They don't need expensive factories to build products. Instead, they built a system that the whole world depends on. And once people started trusting that system, it became stronger every year. Now here's another interesting question. What happens when more countries become digital? Years ago, many people paid only with cash. Today, millions use cards, mobile wallets, or online payments. Even street vendors in many places now accept digital payments. That means more transactions. More transactions mean more tiny fees. And more tiny fees mean even bigger profits. This is why digital payments have grown so quickly over the past 20 years. Shopping online has also changed everything. Think about it. Every time someone orders clothes, books, electronics, food, or even movie tickets online, another digital payment happens. Every online purchase creates another opportunity for these payment systems to earn a small amount. One payment may not matter, but billions of payments create an incredible business. Now let's think about something even more surprising. Imagine if I offered you $1 today, or I offered you 1 penny from every purchase made in your city for the next 10 years. Which would you choose? Many people would quickly take the $1 because it's easy to understand. But if thousands or millions of people keep buying things every single day, that tiny penny could become worth far more than the single dollar. This is one of the biggest lessons in business. Sometimes small amounts collected over a very long time are much more valuable than one large payment. That's exactly why subscription services became so successful. It's also why payment networks became financial giants. Small, steady, reliable, over and over again. Another reason this business is so powerful is trust. When you tap your card, you expect the payment to work instantly. You don't want to wonder where your money went. You don't want errors. You don't want delays. Building that trust took many years. Once businesses and customers trusted these payment systems, millions more joined. Then millions became billions. This created something very difficult for competitors to copy. Because once stores, banks, and customers are already connected to one trusted network, changing everything becomes very expensive and complicated. That gives established payment companies a huge advantage. Here's another interesting fact. Many of these companies don't even care what you buy. Coffee, pizza, airplane tickets, furniture, medicine, clothes. They earn money whether you're buying something small or something expensive. Their job is simply helping the payment happen. That means they benefit whenever people spend money. This is why holidays are often exciting times for payment companies. When shopping increases, so do transactions. And when transactions increase, those tiny fees grow into huge amounts. It almost feels like magic. But it's actually simple mathematics. Small fee times billions of purchases equals enormous profits. This story teaches us something much bigger than payment networks. It shows us that success isn't always about charging high prices. Sometimes the smartest businesses charge almost nothing at all. Instead of making a lot from one customer, they make a tiny amount from millions or even billions of people. That idea has created some of the world's biggest companies. The next time you tap your card, buy something online, or pay using your phone, remember this. The payment only takes a few seconds. You barely think about it. But behind those few seconds is a giant financial system moving money across the world at incredible speed. And somewhere inside that payment is a tiny fee that most people never notice. A fee so small it seems unimportant. Yet when repeated billions of times, it creates fortunes worth billions of dollars. It's a powerful reminder that in business, the smallest things can sometimes produce the biggest results. If you found this story surprising and learned something new today, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. We explore the hidden stories behind money, business, technology, and the everyday systems that quietly shape our lives. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, the world's biggest fortunes are not always built from huge payments. Sometimes, they're built one tiny transaction at a time.